Some individuals may pretend to self-harm to attract attention due to feelings of loneliness, inadequacy, or a lack of healthy coping mechanisms. This behavior can serve as a cry for help, seeking validation and support from others, though addressing the underlying emotional needs remains crucial for their well-being.
Is she just looking for attention, or does she actually need help? Yeah, she probably needs help, because what's going on, regardless of the reasons for it or the ways that it manifests, whether it is cutting or excessive scratching or burning, etc., what is happening is, quote, a deliberate adaptive strategy to manage physiological stimulation and emotional distress without the intention of ending life. It's often used as a coping mechanism for extreme tension or stress, anxiety, depression. It might be used to deal with extremely traumatic events or abuse happening. It might be used to deal with bullying. It can be related to impulse control disorders. Speaking of control, it is often used to gain a sense of control over whatever is going on inside or outside. And there is a socially contagious element to this, particularly among younger people, and it does spread through social media. There are these online communities that have been created. It thrives on places like Tumblr, YouTube, and YouTube comments. Considering all of the outrageous things people can do or wear to draw attention to themselves, just writing people who might self-harm in public as just wanting attention, plain and simple, it's not that plain and simple.
Should we be concerned about them? Yes, we should be concerned about individuals who pretend to self-harm for attention, as their actions indicate underlying emotional struggles that need attention and support. While the behavior might be a manifestation of their distress, it's important to approach them with empathy, offer help, and encourage them to seek appropriate mental health assistance to address their needs effectively.
Welcome to another edition of Speak Your Mind Show. My name is Pastor Giovanni, and we're going to be together in this next hour to bring you guys the very best about a certain topic that is going on, especially now in these moments. And I have here with me Miss Audrey. Miss Audrey, hello.
Hello, good evening to everyone. And as we are on this new topic, tonight we'll be speaking about self-harm, attention seeking, or a silent cry for help. As we have a poll going on, you can scan the QR code that will appear and you can give your opinion. You can share on our poll to see whether or not, what do you think? Attention seekers, or is it a silent cry for help? Let us know.
And you can send us a message through WhatsApp, also 437-233-9815, or you can give us a call, 877-785-8700. Now, you might even be asking yourself, what is self-harm? I'd love to put on the screen basically more or less the definition of what self-harm is. If studio, you guys can help me out and fill up the screen. Look what it says. Self-harm, also known as self-injury, self-mutilation, and non-suicidal self-injury, is a set of behaviors resulting in intentional, self-inflicted physical injury to someone's body. And if you wanted to know around what area or around what age does this begin, let us go to some more facts on the screen. Please, studio, thank you. When self-harm begins, more or less, between these two ages. Well, that one is there. Basically, a number of other health conditions, which is self-harm, can be a symptom of depression, panic disorder, generalized attention deficit, and so on. Ms. Audrey, I think we also already have some comments from our poll that we've been having these past couple of days.
Yes, Pastor, we actually have here, as we can see on the screen, that Jairo actually said, self-harm is a cry for help. The person that inflicts self-harm doesn't know how to cope with internal struggles they're going through, and consequently, they have to resort to harming their physical self since their spiritual self is crying for help.
And on Zoom, we have Miss Evelyn. Let's see if we can connect her right now. Miss Evelyn, do you hear us? Miss Evelyn? Okay.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us now?
Yes, Pastor, I can hear you.
Perfect, Miss Evelyn. Miss Evelyn, that is the question that we have. People who do self-harm, is it for attention? Is it attention that they're looking for? Or is it a cry for help?
In my opinion, self-harm is seeking for attentions. Self-harm like cutting, scratching yourself, biting, or some are headbanging. I can say that is seeking for attention.
And why do you say that, Miss? Speak your mind with us.
Because some has difficulty of managing their emotions. They have poor coping skills. That's why the way they do is to self-harm.
And Miss Evelyn, what do you say then to people who have had a history of someone who has been doing self-harm? They cut themselves, they hurt themselves,
Yeah.
and it ends up in suicide. What do you say to that then?
Some also have post-trauma, especially when they're in childhood. Because I knew a friend who do that before.
Mm.
So what I do is I encourage them to communicate their feelings of stress or depressive mood.
And so you think that somebody who does self-harm, one of the first things that they should do is communicate their feelings?
Yes.
Okay. And have you ever known, for example, in the case with your friend, did your friend tell you about what was going on? How did you resolve that case?
Yes, I encourage my friend to seek the help of a pastor.
Mm.
And also and therapist.
Yes. Miss Evelyn, thank you so much for speaking your mind with us tonight. Have a good one, okay?
Have a good evening to Pastor.
Miss Audrey, I think we're getting more comments as this is a serious topic. You can join us through our Telegram channel, Speak Your Mind. The barcode, the QR code is going to pop up right now. You can point your phone. Miss Audrey, I think we have more comments.
Yes, I actually want to read here Gus's comment that says like this. I think for sure, self-harm is a complete cry for help because attention seeking, even if it is someone that is seeking attention from parents, seeking attention from society, or whatever it may be, because it's a trend, obviously, it's a cry for help. You wouldn't be seeking attention unless you need it. You know what I mean? We have teens, youth here, and do certain things to want attention or want, their parents to remember them or to give them attention and everything. They were lonely. Then they said that they were depressed. Then they were gothic. That was the way that they were crying for help. They would become emo, it's a whole different trend now, self-harm.
And you can continue sharing your thoughts. If you're watching us right now and you have a comment about this subject, you go, you know what? I think people are just looking for attention. I think people are really asking for help. 437-233-9815. Our lines are open and at your complete disposal. 877-785-8700. I think I have with me also on Zoom, Edgar. Edgar, do you hear me? Hello? Edgar?
Yes, Pastor, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now. Edgar, please, if you
Yes,
can let us
Pastor.
know,
Yes.
this is the question that we have for you. Self-harm, is it just people seeking attention or is it a silent cry for help?
Well, in my opinion, it's actually a seeking cry for help. The reason why I say this because I've seen it from my friends. Most of these friends that I knew back then, and someone that I still know, they wouldn't tell nobody whenever they were harming themselves. Actually, the way we find out, it was by accident. Let's say they always wore like long jackets, like long sleeve shirts. So probably by accident. Actually, one time by accident, I pulled my friend's shirt up, and I saw all the scars that he had, and I didn't know. And he told me like once I saw it, he just told me, "Hey, I'm going through this. I'm going through that."
And Edgar,
Now,
in a moment like that, when you see
this to seek attention because they get influenced. Yes, sir.
when you see certain situations like that, what did you do? What did you think when you saw your friend lift up his shirt by accident and you saw all of those marks?
Well, first, I just looked at him. I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" I'm like, "What is this?" And he was just like, "I'm sorry, man. I don't know. This is the only way I can express me. Like, this is the only way for me to actually try to solve a problem, like for him." And I actually told him it's not the way, but like he didn't know how to tell his parents or anybody. He was scared of getting made fun of.
And so, Edgar, you saying that it's a silent cry for help. Were you ever in a situation that you also were gonna, self-harm yourself, harm your own body, thoughts of suicide?
Yeah, actually, it got to the point whenever I started going through like personal problems. I remember this friend uh, cutting himself. I was like, okay, let me see if it works. Uh, I tried it. I don't, but it wasn't like something for me to actually get over the fact that I was like depressed in a sense. So actually, suicide thoughts came in. Actually, the suicide thoughts were actually stronger than me trying to harm myself, like cutting myself or anything. I had in my head to do something more than that, free myself from the problem.
And Edgar, did you ever look for help? Did you ever ask anybody to help you? I think we had a little mistake with his connection. We'll be right back to talk with Edgar, but you can keep calling us. You can keep sending us a message, 437-233-9815, or you can call us right now, 877-785-8700. Before we go to this next clip, Audrey, I think you have one more comment with you.
Yes, I have from Josephine, and she says like this: I believe self-harm is a cry for help. It's a way for a person to alleviate the pain, but it's a false perception. In order for the individual to be helped, they need to heal their soul.
Well, there you have another comment from somebody who has their input, and you can continue sending us a message. You can continue calling us or sending us a message. Let's take a quick break. I want you to pay attention to this next clip, and we'll be right back.
They don't do it for attention. They do it saying, help me, I need help. Because most of the time they don't know the source that they have out there that they can help from. And by doing that, then concerned people will look at it and find that person and offer them help.
They need attention, like some cut and like not a random cut, but they try to like create something in their hands and everything, and they will be like, oh, you created it itself, and they will get attention of that.
While I was growing up, self-harm was like more like lack of knowledge. Like when you see media, you don't, as a small kid, you're not taking in enough and nobody's explaining you, right? You're going through a breakup, what do you do? Because you've seen it, self-harm, you know? If, you know, your mother has scolded you, what do? You do self-harm.
I think because they're crying for help, and some people don't listen to them.
It all stems from simply resentment from yourself. As in, you have an idea of what you want to be, who you want to be, and you have not fulfilled such potential.
And sometimes the like love life of teenagers as well. They go through a very bad breakup or phase, and they do self-harm. It's like all the phases, and it's different for like different phase of life cycle.
I think self-harm, it's like a trend. Like, you know, like braces are a trend that one person gets and everybody. So if the scars is like, oh, you know, there's like a deep story, it might show that, oh, you're stronger than that person because, you know, you can take that much pain.
It could be depression. Look at the cost of food. Look at the cost of rent, you know, to raise a child. You know, I was just talking to my sister a while ago. It takes a lot, you know, and two good income, you're looking at $90,000 a year, you know, to survive now. So most of the time, you know, self-mutilation or self-afflicting wounds on yourself is just crying out for help. I have enough. And they don't want to kill themselves too, because they know that's wrong.
Just like depression and I don't know, just like a lot of thoughts in their head.
And the news, I see a lot of that, and then people say, oh, I wouldn't do that, I will never do that. But I say, no, never say never, because you don't know what they're going through. Sometimes they mentally, sometimes they need help.
I think they get overwhelmed and they don't know how to cope with everyday lifestyle, right? And peer pressure, and they, you know, they don't, sometimes it's like they don't belong in the group, so they just get overwhelmed over it. So I guess they want the easy way out, right? So they try to self-harm.
Some sort of addiction to like drugs or something, they might get high and not even realize that they are harming themselves.
And sometimes it's a little mental sickness too. You never know. You know what I mean? It could be a little mental. They scratch themselves, they bite themselves, they punch themselves, they hit their heads on walls and whatever.
The best way to deal with self-harm is to support one another, but not necessarily just with the nurturing way. I also believe that tough love is absolutely necessary to progress as human beings.
Maybe we should work more on people's mental health, more than, you know, there's a reason why kids want to self-harm themselves. There's always a reason behind it.
437-233-9815 or 877-785-8700. I think we still have with us Edgar. Let's see if we can connect him again. Please, Edgar, do you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes. Now, back to what you were saying. I had asked you if at any given moment, did you ever ask for help? Did you ever ask your friends to help you out with what you were going through?
Yeah, actually, like I said at the beginning, and one of my opinions is that some people, because of some people, like use this as a just to seek attention. Uh, People afterwards they just take it as a joke because when I asked for help, most of my friends didn't believe me. They were just like, nah, you're just trying to call attention or anything like that.
So your own friends thought you were just looking for attention.
Yes, sir. They actually thought I was not having anything, that I wanted to feel special. I just wanted to be relevant between the circle.
And now, Edgar, did you ever or have you ever thought about or tried committing suicide at any point in your life?
Yeah, man, I'm not proud of it, but I have uh, 5 attempts. So
And what do you think is the main one that sticks out to you?
the main one is actually the one that happened like about probably 3 years ago. That I was trying to jump off a bridge. I was drunk, like completely drunk, and I was already on top of the fence. I regretted it, and since I was not in none of my senses because of the drinking, I almost fell. My shirt got stuck in one of the pieces of metal that was sticking out, and I guess that's what saved me, at the time. And he helped me to pull myself back, so I'm fine. I actually won't fall.
And we were talking a little before the program also, and you had mentioned, I think you had an encounter with a friend with a rifle, if I had that right.
Yeah, my first, I want to say the 3 suicide attempts. I tried to shoot myself, but it was at the time I was really, really younger, and I mean I couldn't own a weapon, so I knew somebody that had one, and I told him, "Hey, you think I can borrow your gun? Because I haven't this, he having this." And that. At the beginning, he tried to take me out of it, but then he saw that I kept insisting. So he was just like, all right, here's a gun. Tell me where you're gonna do it so I can just go pick it up.
So that he could just go pick up the gun after you would have
Yeah.
shot yourself in the head.
Yeah.
I promise you that your friends didn't think you were joking after that, huh?
He actually after that, he did it. He knew I was being for real because he actually thought he was gonna go to my house to pick up the gun. But in reality, he actually met me at the place where he knew I was gonna be at. So after that, he kind of spoke with me and he was helping me a little bit, trying to get that out of my head. But yeah, at some point, he seemed not to care about it.
Well, Edgar, if nobody has told you, we're happy that you're still here with us 3 years after. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, okay? Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, Pastor.
You see, Miss Audrey, how many people live in the situation that he asked his friend, and his friend said, well, here, take the gun, just tell me where you're going to be, and I'll pick up the gun. Do you have any more comments on that? Or
Yes, Pastor, we actually have one that actually says like this. I think social media contributes to this. Watching famous actors do this and musicians, it's easier for kids to learn about this now. So we have here as well that we concluded the final poll is self-harm, a cry for help, or seeking attention. And 82% say a cry for help, and 9% says attention seekers, and 9% say neither.
And we want to share with you guys more clips of things that you can even find online about this type of topic. If you guys have a comment, if you guys have an input, if you want to share, just like Edgar shared with us, even an experience that he had, you can definitely do that right now, 437-233-9815, or our phone number that is going to pop up right there in the screen, which is 877-785-8700. Let's take a quick pause. We'll be right back.
Right now, I'm going to give you 7 signs of attention-seeking behavior. Number 1, anxiety often creeps in, and you worry about if something you do will be received well by others. Number 2, you are more susceptible to feeling lonely, so So you do things to draw connection. An example of this we see is oversharing on social media. Number 3, insecurity often creeps in, causing you to compare your worth to others. Number 4, you are too attached to praise. Attachment to praise makes criticism crippling. Number 5, you always feel the need to prove yourself, whether it's overly explaining yourself, one-upping, or using knowledge against people. Number 6, you do things for the applause of it, the likes, the following, and the recognition. Number 7, you try too hard to be unique. You already are unique. There's no reason to go overboard trying to make others see it. There you have it. 7 signs you almost definitely are doing things for the applause, attention, and validation of it all. In other words, the wrong reasons. You are more than enough, and there's no reason why we should be seeking validation from external sources in ways that dishonor our soul.
Girl, you're making it hard for me. Girl, you're making it hard for me. Girl, you're making it hard for me.
Now, when it comes to understanding the warning signs, there are some physical traits that you may pick up on if someone else is hurting themselves intentionally. You may see some scars, scabs, and cuts on the skin that can't quite be explained. Or when you try to bring up this conversation about these new blemishes that you're seeing, they quickly shut down and visibly look very uncomfortable talking about it. Another physical trait, your friend or loved one might be wearing long sleeves during warm weather, or they might even have sharp objects in their possession like razors, knives, and nail clippers. There are also verbal indicators that can help you sort of recognize if someone else around you is struggling mentally. Here are some phrases that you should listen to and watch out for. I'm just tired. This always happens to me. I just feel numb. No one cares. What's the point? Again, these are verbal cues that could show some connection between the self-harm that may be happening and your friend or loved one's mental health.
If you know someone who self-harms, maybe they cut, burn, or hit themselves, listen up. Don't judge them for what they're doing. Here's a real reason most people self-harm. For many, they don't want to die, but they are experiencing massive pain, and they can't really cope with it anymore. The only thing they know that'll change how they feel is self-harm. Instead of judging, be compassionate. Try saying, wow, it sounds like you're going through a lot of tough stuff right now. Do you want to talk about it? Or maybe, can we hang out and take a break from all the stress you're under? That might be enough to help that person avoid self-harming in that moment.
And we have a few more comments that I would like to read with you all. It says like this: I used to do it as a way not to feel so much pain and to not feel my feelings at all. The mental pain used to be so bad, the physical pain would distract me and felt like I could breathe for a second until it repeats. But now I used to be feeling something.
And Ms. Audrey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you ever had an experience with self-harm or somebody you know self-harm?
Yes, Pastor, I actually had a friend when I was a teenager in actually middle school. There was a person that actually would do this, 2 different friends. One that actually did it because of something that was going on seriously back home, and another that actually did it because she thought it was cool, because you can test your tolerance for pain. So in her opinion, she would, obviously they would hide the marks with like some bands, some wristbands, and then they would, mark up themselves. And she would do it to show people that it was something cool, something that she was able to do. So she would only do it for attention. And I had that other friend that was actually going through something. And I was in the middle of both of them, because at that time I was like, they're my friends. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But I knew that if something were to happen, it would be on my conscience.
And so there you know that any type of cry for attention is also a cry for help.
Yes, because even in that one occasion where that girl that wanted to, prove something, it was something that she was feeling inside, and also it was for lack of attention back home. Because then we found out that her parents, they let her do anything. They let her do anything that she wanted. And so she thought, I'm cool, I can do this, I can do that. So she started to do this self-harm, seeking for attention, because she wanted the approvals of everybody else. She wanted that attention for herself.
Well, we are closing in now in the last few moments of our program, but you can still give us a call. You can still send us a message through WhatsApp. Our numbers are going to pop up right now. I would love to invite you guys, if possible, to prepare a cup of water. And in a little bit, I'm going to explain to you guys what we're going to be doing in a couple of minutes. But I would love for you guys to pay attention to this next segment.
Self-harm refers to the act of intentionally hurting oneself as a way to cope with emotional pain, distress, or overwhelming feelings. It's important to note that self-harm is not a healthy or effective way to deal with these emotions, but rather a temporary relief that can lead to physical and emotional harm in the long run.
New tonight, a disturbing trend on the rise. Teenagers cutting themselves and hiding their injuries from their parents. Doctors say there are warning signs. And tonight, we meet one young woman who gained control. CBS 2's Alice Gaynor has her story.
This is just some of the cutting 16-year-old Victoria Kunz did to her arms using a variety of methods: blades, scissors, anything sharp she could find.
My thoughts were constantly about hurting myself. I did it an average of 6 times a day.
Until her parents admitted her to a hospital.
The part that hit me the lowest was around 2, 3 in the morning when I had to make that decision and sign my daughter into the hospital and relinquish full control.
When we first found out about it, I didn't know anything about it.
For Victoria, the cutting began 2 years ago during her freshman year of high school. She says she had a hard time fitting in and battled depression.
It kind of distracted me from everything I was thinking, and it felt like I had a sense of control.
And she says she's not the only one.
It's more common than people think. I know a lot of my friends have done it and still are doing it.
Experts say 18% of adolescents are cutters.
It alters your mood, and it works really quite well and very quickly.
But the doctor says it's only a temporary fix. After months of therapy, Victoria is doing much better. She recently returned from a trip where she had the opportunity to work with children in need, and now she wants to become a psychologist.
She has a need and a purpose in life. To see her smile again, it's awesome. Yeah. I got my daughter back.
Bye, guys.
Doctors say parents should look for warning signs like bloody tissues in the garbage can or bloody razors. Many teens also hide the problem with long sleeves or pants. Alice Gaynor, CBS 2 News.
Self-harm can take various forms, including cutting or scratching the skin, burning oneself, hitting or punching oneself, pulling out hair, or even intentionally causing bruises. It's often a way for individuals to externalize their emotional pain or regain a sense of control over their feelings, even though it doesn't address the underlying issues.
I'm a psychologist who's helped a lot of people who self-harm, and here's what I want everyone to know about self-harming. There are a lot of ways people intentionally hurt themselves. The one you've probably heard about is cutting, but all this stuff is self-harm too. It's usually not about wanting to die. Most self-harm is classified as non-suicidal self-injury. That means the person doesn't want to die, they want to quickly change the way they're feeling. It's treatable. A mental health professional can help someone figure out what their self-harm is doing for them and find other ways to meet those goals. Alternatives might not work as quickly, but they will definitely help someone to feel more in control.
Paying attention to people who hurt themselves is really important. It shows they are going through tough emotions and mental health struggles, which could get worse if they don't get help. If we step in early with care and understanding, we can help them deal with their problems in a healthier way and connect them with professionals.
And I would like to share with you guys this slide that was prepared, a little bit about what else is connected with self-harm. If we can fill up the screen, please, production, if possible. Thank you. So it says, there are, however, a number of other mental health conditions which self-harm can be a symptom of. These include depression, panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, eating disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, and autistic spectrum disorders. You see, Audrey, that there are a number of things that come associated with self-harm. You know, I remember the case that you were talking about, Edgar's case, a bunch of people who, you know, if there is no care there, then they can kind of spiral out of control and end up being diagnosed with another type of disorder.
And we have here a comment that says like this: self-harm is a coping mechanism or a behavior that is due to lack of coping skills. So this person says it's not a trend. There are different methods of self-harm like cutting, burns, bruising, eating disorders, pinching yourself, and pulling your hair. People do it for many different reasons, such as mental illness, a coping mechanism, and due to all emotional pain, in this person's opinion.
And I think we have somebody on the line. I think we have an anonymous caller. You can keep calling us 437-233-9815 or 877-785-8700. Let's see if we can connect the person. Hello, do you hear me? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes. So the question that we're asking everyone is about self-harm. Is it for people just seeking attention, or is it really a cry for help?
In my opinion, I honestly think that it's a cry for help. Whether it's to get attention or not, the base of everything is help. I believe no one does something just because. And in my experience and the people that I know that have gone through this situation, they can say that it was for attention, but in home or at work or in certain area of their life, they were going through something. And only through that self-harm, only through cutting themselves, self-mutilation, that was a relief for them.
Now, have you ever gone through something like that in your own experience?
In my own experience, yes, I have. And like I said, I feel like, in my opinion, the basis of everything is crying out for help. I would cut myself because of things that would happen at home. And I remember a certain situation, a moment in my life where I got into a very aggressive physical and verbal fight with my brother, one of my brothers. And we were already having problems at home. And he would, quote unquote, take care of me, but we would always fight. And so, because of those problems and because we would physically fight, I would lock myself in the bathroom and I would start cutting myself with scissors. And every time I would feel the blade of the scissor touch my skin, whatever I was going through and feeling at that moment, it was a sense of relief, like that sadness, that anger was leaving my body, you can say, once I felt that blade touch my skin. And as well as this kept going on, I started smoking cigarettes, and I would burn my own skin, my hand with the cigarettes, just to feel some type of relief.
Now, on top of the self-harm, would you ever look for help? Would you ever ask anybody for help?
No, I would not. I would keep everything inside. Until it got to a point where I didn't know what else to do. So gladly, I never asked for help, but I guess you can say help came to me.
I understand. But we're glad that you are not in the same position that you're in. Thank you so much for speaking your mind with us tonight. God bless.
Thank you so much. You guys are doing an awesome job.
And we want to share with you guys, well, I want to share with you guys a little piece of my mind. If we have the Bible verse that we can put on the screen, we can fill up the whole screen if the production team can help me out. I want you to pay very close attention. See what it says. It goes like this. Supposing the prisoners had fled, drew his sword, and was about to kill himself. But Paul called with a loud voice, saying, "Do yourself no harm, for we are all here." Biblically speaking, I want to give you guys my insight. I think any type of cry for help, any type of attention seeking has those blurred lines of I need help. And maybe this attention seeking isn't so much, hey, I'm depressed, someone come help me. Sometimes attention seeking can manifest into comedy, it can manifest into partying, can manifest into drinking, excessive smoking. Because what do you do with the people who aren't outside, but also stay locked in? So any type of attention seeking is a cry for help. And here in the Bible, we see that there was this man who was just doing his job. And when something didn't go right in his job, he was ready to draw his sword and to kill himself. Now I ask you, when's the last time something going wrong in your job caused you to have a suicidal thought, caused you to want to end it all? But we can obviously tell that inside of him, there was other problems, there was other conflict going on. But the Bible says that Paul, he said with a loud voice, do yourself no harm. We are all here. In other words, the man of God, he said, hey, don't do anything. That's not going to help you out. But we're here to help you out. If you or if anybody you know has a situation where they cut themselves, they as the man in the phone call said, that he felt relief the moment the blade touched his skin. If that's somebody like you and you need help, do yourself no harm. We're all here. And that's why I would love to invite you guys to pay very close attention to this story. This person who also came, was completely destroyed, and now the reality is a different one. And when we return, I would love to make a prayer for you who watches right now, for you who don't want to cause harm upon yourself anymore. Prepare yourself a glass of water, because when we return, we're going to have the moment of prayer. Pay close attention.
My name is Anais Gomez. I'm 25 years old, and my suffering started when I was a child. I grew up in a very unhappy home. I was very angry. I always wanted to kill myself. I always felt unloved, unappreciated, unwanted. I always felt like the outcast in my home. I was always kind of made fun of because I had bipolar disorder. You go up and down. One minute you're happy, you can be really happy. The next minute you can be really depressed. I was on a lot of meds since I was like maybe 5. I believe it was 5 because I couldn't even last in elementary and kindergarten. They would kick me out of kindergarten and elementary. I used to go kicking and hitting the staffs and the students. From there on, I started getting hospitalized. And I think like that even became more of a habit. I'd be bad and they would go hospitalized. And the hospitalization is called psych ward. They would put a lot of medication in my system. I would take sleeping medication. I would take antidepressant. I would take mood swings, and then there was some point where I would take a shot as well, because they were trying to figure out why I was always angry. I had a really bad temper. When I was with the father of my child at the place that we were staying, me and him got into a physical altercation, and it took about 7 staff to pin me down, and it took about almost 2 hours to calm me down. I used to cut myself to release because I used to get so tense and angry. I didn't have a way out, so I would cut. Unintentionally knowing that I was gonna cut it that deep, I cut it really deep, all of these. And you could see my flesh. And that day, my dad had to hassle me on the floor and kind of tie some socks because there was blood everywhere on the floor, on the kitchen floor. I was also addicted to having sex with men. And then I was not addicted to having drinking or drugging, but I did end up at some point start doing that because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like everyone because I didn't know why I wasn't accepted or I was outcast. I got bullied a lot. So I started drinking. And then when I left the father of my child, at some point we broke up before I had my son. I used to smoke marijuana to get over him. I stayed in a nursing home. I used to stay at facilities for my mental disorder that I had. I wanted to change because I was tired of having the same attitude and having violent problems, anger problems, and I just wanted to have a different transformation in my life. And one of the youths that used to work there, I went up to him and I said, I don't know, I think he was talking to one of the other girls that stood there, and we ended up going together actually. And we told him we want a different lifestyle. And he gave us one of the assistants' number that goes to the church that I'm at right now. So she went with her and some other girls to tell us about the Universal Church and how God has changed them and helped them. So then me and her started going to church. And I really actually liked it. So I kept going and kept going. As of today, I'm getting closer to God. He's delivering me from trauma, bipolar, cutting, paranoia. I no longer swear. I don't longer beat people up. I don't take any medication. I don't see a psychiatrist. He's delivered me from feeling alone. He's delivered me from having intercourse with men that wouldn't really accept me. He's delivered me from looking at myself like I am the problem everywhere I go. The only way out is going to God and believing that He can help you. Because out there, you're going to try everything to fulfill your void, and it's going to be temporary. If you want a way out, I tell you, go to the Lord. He's the only way.
And now we are at the moment that is the most important of this program. Not only will we speak what's inside, but we will speak with the only one capable of healing those wounds. So if you have your cup of water, please get ready, because now is the moment that we talk to God.
Lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He won't let my foot be moved. He who keeps me is the Lord, the one who keeps Israel, will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is my keeper. He's the shade on my right hand. He keeps my soul. He protects me from all evil. He keeps my going out and my coming in, from now on and forever. The Lord is my keeper. He's the shade on my right hand. He keeps my soul. He protects me from all evil. He keeps my going out and my coming in, from now on and forever. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He won't let my foot be moved. He who keeps me is the Lord, the one who keeps Israel, will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is my from all evil. He keeps my going out and my coming in from now on and forever. The Lord is my keeper. He's the shade on my right hand. He keeps my soul. He protects me from all evil. He keeps my going out and my coming in from now on and forever. From now on and forever.
And now we are going to talk to God. Prepare yourself. It is the moment of prayer.
Prepare a glass of water or get closer to your television screen. At this moment, we will have a special prayer to your name.
My God, I pray in favor of this person who's watching us right now in this moment, who has been going through different problems. Maybe, my Lord, self-harm has made part of what their reality is. They cut themselves. Maybe just like Edgar's story, they've even tried to jump off a bridge, shoot themselves in the head. Or maybe they're people who are young, who are in a circle of friends and they all know that there's something wrong inside. And just like this person, my father, that the Bible shows, because something went wrong, he was ready to draw his sword to kill himself. My God, I pray in favor of this person who thinks there's no way out, in favor of this person who thinks there's no solution, in favor of this person, my God, who thinks that there's no remedy. My God, I determine that in Jesus Christ's name, they receive in this moment what only comes from you. Receive the strength, receive life. That when they drink of this water, my God, every drop that enters their body can be, like your word says, a river, my Lord, of life inside of them. My God, I determine the blessing inside of each and every single one of these persons' lives. And we determine, my Father, all of them blessed, free from any affliction, free from any pain, free from any chain, in Jesus Christ's name. And if you believe, so then you say amen. Amen. We're going to drink of this water right now, and I want you to drink using faith. That thing inside of you that tells you, although my life is not where I want it to be, there is a way out. And that's why we invite you this Sunday, 10 o'clock in the morning, in our gathering of faith and miracles. 2420 Duffering Street. You can take the 29 bus or the 929 bus, and that'll end you up right there. God bless all of you. Thank you for speaking your mind with us. Till next time.
Join thousands of people every Sunday at 10 a.m. in one faith. Based on this word, again, I say to you that if two of you agree on earth concerning anything that they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. Matthew 18:19. Receive the 7 prayers.
I don't know how long I had that disease, but the way I found out is I had went to the doctor to have my annual physical. So they called me about the results and told me to get to the hospital because my sugar was so high that was threatening a stroke. So I participated in drinking the blessed water. Faithfully, I did it every day. I just continued. in my faith and coming to the church and fighting against it.
Deliverance.
I was a victim of witchcraft. My mother sacrificed me since I was young. I couldn't walk. I was paralyzed for a long time. I don't remember half of my life. I remember being in the hospital. It was King County Hospital. I remember that I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to write. I saw demons. People think that evil's not real. It is real. I went to a lot of churches, like 23 Christian church. And I never felt like I felt when I came to the Universal Church. But when I came to this ministry, from the very first time that I stepped through that door, I knew there was hope in this church.
Prosperity.
I had a business that was doing at one point rather well and went down substantially, and experienced just hard times trying to bring it up. I experienced also 3 deaths in my family. My mother, my father, my brother passed away. Then we had the recession, and I really never recovered from that. And it's still hard times, but since I've been coming to the church here, my business is starting to recoup. I see opportunities where my phone is ringing. I want this house built. I want this done. My business is starting to take off to another dimension.
Family.
I was about to separate with my husband, and during the time I was coming to church, I learned to forgive. And when I learned to forgive, I started working on my relationship with my husband. And when my husband never opened up to me, never told me what was going on with his life, until one day I got a knock on the front door, and it turned out to be the police. And I had to learn, okay, God, you are here. I learned through the church, through tribulations, you use your faith. And that's when I said, hey, that God is talking to me. This is a way I'm going to find a solution to my problem.
Love life.
And my husband and I were very happy, loving. Everybody in the neighborhood know us and always want their relationship to be like our relationship. Our relationship was an example that people wants to follow. Until one day I found out that my husband had someone else. And that turned me into a bitter and an angry person. Me surrendering my life to the Lord, I got baptized, was filled with the Holy Spirit. Now I have no hate. I'm not angry. I want to even save other people. Try to counsel other people who are going through problems in their marriage.
Encounter with God.
The suffering in my life, it started with me just basically having pain all over my body. And my mom took me to the doctor. They could not figure out what was wrong with me. I started having headaches, and the headaches get worse. It would go like from maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days. Then I started to have stomach pain. My whole body was in pain. And I just felt like something, just like a brick drop on my head. And I had that headache. It was so bad. And I was sweating. I felt like I was going to pass out. I wake up one Sunday morning and I'm coming to church, and I'm like, I'm not leaving the church today without giving my life to God. I'm going to baptize today. And I came to church. Service is finished. I got baptized, and I never looked back.
Temple of Miracles, 2420 Dufferin Street, Toronto. 2420 Dufferin Street, Toronto. And every Universal Church countrywide.